Hey there, welcome back to our channel. So for today, we're going to go through a quick overview of Lit protocol and Lit actions. So you might be asking yourself, what are Lit actions and what do they do? So Lit actions are JavaScript programs that are used to specify signing and authentication for logic programmable key pairs. So, programmable key pairs are a special type of cryptographic wallets that are normally used to store and manage private keys. And these programmable key pairs are normally used with lit actions to write data to blockchains and other state machines. A good example of how lit actions are normally used with programmable key pairs is, let's say, for example, you want to control access to a certain type of data, such as files or databases or APIs. So lit actions can be used to control access to this particular data or resources, and this can be done by requiring users to provide a certain signature from a particular programmable key pair in order to access the resource. The other thing is another good example is encryption of data. So lit actions can be used to encrypt the data before it's stored or transmitted, and this normally helps in retaining the confidentiality of the data, considering the fact that the Web3 ecosystem is normally open source, for the lack of a better term, or it's, yeah, open source. So if you come to the documentation, you'll see the different examples and use cases of lit actions and lit protocol. And if you just click to them, they'll take you to our GitHub repository, which contains the specific code to this particular use. So the next step is will be getting the get lit command line interfaces. So if you are running on Windows, I'd recommend you to use the GitHub code spaces virtual environment that is provided by GitHub. But to a good example of how to use Get Lit CLI to create new lit actions. So you go to github.com, and so I'll just come over here, click on new, and I'll call this lit action demo for, yeah, then public. Then I'll add a readme file. So whenever you are creating a new repository, in order to use it in GitHub code spaces, you need to add a readme file, because ideally the code space cannot open up a new, you cannot work in a code space environment if you haven't created a new, if your repository is empty. So I'll just create repository. Yes, then I'll come over here, then github.com/code spaces. Yes, then I'll click on new code space, select a repository. I'll search for lit actions demo. Yeah, this one. Then create code space. So we'll just give it a few seconds for it to load. So once it has loaded, this is what will appear, and let's just give it a few minutes for it to fully load. So once you've loaded your code space, this is what you'll see, and you can see it has opened the repository that I created with the README file over here. So if I'd like to use the code space in dark mode, I'll just come to the settings. So I've gone to this and clicked over there for the settings. Then I'll search over here theme, and depending on your preference, probably you're a person who normally uses light mode. You'd prefer using it as it was. Like to change the settings or the theme to dark mode, this is the process that you'll do. So once you're here, the first thing to do is to create a new project. So how do you create a new project? The first step of creating a new project is installing the Lit protocol or the Get Lit CLI. How do we install Get Lit CLI? We will run the command npm install get lit. So let's type it out: npm install get. Let's just wait for it to install. So once it has successfully installed, this is what you'll see. And if you'd like to know whether it has successfully installed, you'll just type the command get lit. Yes, as you can see, if I type the command get lit, it tells me command not found, so I'll have to rerun the command again. But now, in order to solve this error, what I'll do is in npm install get lit, I'll add the global command, and let's run it once again. Yeah, so once it has finished installing, we'll just see whether we have it has installed. And yes, if you run get lit, this is what you'll see. So if you'd like to know whether the get lit CLI has been successfully installed in your machine, you'll run this command, and this is what you'll see. And over here you'll see it has highlighted to you the different commands that you need to run in order to initialize a new project, build new lit actions, and also create new lit action. I'll just clear my terminal, and we'll head over to initializing a new lit project or lit action. So in order to initialize a new lit project, we'll run the command get lit init. And the first question that it asks you is, where do you want to install the project? Is it in the root directory? Yes, I like to have it installed in the root directory. And it will automatically create the project, or yes, create the project. So if you come over here and check on the file section, so your VS Code or whatever workspace that you're using, you'll see the Lit Actions directory. So the Lit Actions directory contains a number of folders and a number of files. If you check in the SRC, which stands for the source directory, you'll see a number of files over here, which is actually two files. So the first file is foo.action.typescript, and the other file is main.action.ts. So these are basically lit actions which are written in TypeScript. So if I open the first lit action, you can see over here it contains just a 3-line code, which is a lit action that returns the string bar whenever it's run. So this is a very simple lit action, and I'll come and explain the meaning of these comments over here later on. Then if I open the main action file, so this file contains a lit action that is named hello, which explains how to use lit protocol to request a signature for a specific data. And the specific data in this particular file is this data over here, which is an ASCII representation of the word hello world, or of the phrase hello world. If you scroll downwards, you can see an asynchronous function which contains a command that requests signature from the lit node. In this command, the public key and the signature name have not been provided, which you'll have to insert them yourself. So I'll just explain how to insert them later on. So in over here, you can see like it logs the response that you get from the lit node. Now, the other directory or the other folder contains the test files, and you can see it contains the test files for the lit actions for and main. So ideally, what happens in these particular files is in the full action, it just tests the full lit action, and logs the response in the terminal, and also main also does the same thing. So it's ideally just more or less the same. Now the getlit.json file stores the authentication signature and PKP public keys. So the main reason this file is written separately is because it allows easy management and adjustment of these parameters without actually having to modify the actual code files. Then we have a global.d.typescript file, which it is a TypeScript file that provides the type definitions for global variables and functions. So the main purpose of this file is just to help maintain code readability and maintainability. Then we have a config JSON file specifically for TypeScript. So this is also it's ideally a TypeScript compiler. So it configures TypeScript compiler according to the project requirements. Then you have a utils.mjs file. So this is the main file. It provides utility function for reading lit action code from a file, and also sets up a client for interacting with the lit protocol. So since we've now have a good overview or a good understanding of what this all these files contain, we'll just go through a basic step of how you can run this particular lit action, and also create a new lit action. Yeah. So the next part, we'll have to run the build command. So I'll just clear my terminal again, right? Get lit. So as you can see, we've already initialized a new project by calling the get lit. You can use either get lit init or get lit action. Now the next step is to build. Let's say you've already finalized, or you're still working on your lit actions and you'd like to build them. So the next command, it will be get lit build, in order to build the commands. And let's see what happens. And you can see, yes, we have an error over here, which it's a validation error. So but it's a bug that was specifically put there by the developers of this particular actions. And if you come here in the in the full you need to understand that the name needs to be correct in order for you to pass the schema validation. So we'll just we've rectified over there, and let's try to run the command again. Get lit build, and let's see. And it successfully built the two lit actions that were automatically created when we initialize the project. So what if I want to create a new lit action? What's the necessary step that I need to make? So if we type again, let me clear, you know, if I type get lit, sorry, get lit. Yes, you can see if I'd like to create a new lit action, this is the command that I need to use. So I'll just write get lit new, and let's say I name my new lit action new action. And you'll come and see clearly that it has created a new lit action over here, which is named new action. So you can see over here the schema, it's called new action, and the public key and the sign name, you'll have to input them. But it's ideally it creates a new lit action which requests a signature for the given data array 1 to 8, which is this one, 1 to 5, that is, not to 8, using this particular function that is called from the lit actions. It then sets the response to a JSON string representing an object with a single property foo with a value of bar, which you can see it over here. So let's assume that you've created and you've worked on your lit action and you'd like to test it. So which is the command to write? which is the command to execute. So let's say I'd like to test the full action. So I'll write get lit. Let's see the various commands that are there. Then get lit. You can see over here, if I'd like to test, I'll just write get lit test, then the lit action name. So I'll write get lit test and then full. Let's see what happens. And you see we get an error. So the error is configuration file appears to be incorrect. So you need to check your config located at getlit.json. If we come to the getlit.json file, you can see we didn't input any authentication signature and any PKP public key. So we need to have these two parameters written down or inputted in order for us to successfully run the tests. And to solve this, we need to type or we need to run the command get lit setup, which will set up our authentication signature and PKP. So I'll just write get lit, and you can see it's over here. They've given you the command, so you'll just write get lit setup, and it will redirect you to another tab. So it's connecting, and you can see it tells you to connect your wallet. So me, I'll choose MetaMask because that's the wallet that I normally use, and I'll just write my password. And I'll choose this account that has 0 lit. And I'll connect the sign in. And you can see, so once you connect, it automatically gives you an auth signature. But now, if I'd like to, as you can see, since I've been using Lit protocol, it already has some few two programmable key pairs that I've been using. So let's say that it's my first time using it, and I don't have any programmable key pairs. I need to mint them. So the first thing to do is I'll come over here to the lit faucet. Then I'll enter my wallet address. Yeah, so you'll just come and copy a wallet address and paste it over here. So I've already copied mine and pasted it, and I'll just claim. Oh, I need to complete the capture. Yes, so I have claimed them, and now I can mint up PKP. So it's minting, and I'm expecting a pop-up anytime from now. Yeah, so now you can see a third PKP has appeared since I've minted it. So I'll just select it, and the first thing I'll copy this authSig over here, and I'll come and copy this PKP. Paste it here. Paste it there. Next, yeah. So now I'll go back to then running my test. So let me just open the terminal again. I close this command, and then clear it. So run and then run get lit test. The name of the action is the action that I'd like to test, which is for. So it's now it's connecting to a node, and nice, it has successfully tested the lit action and returned the response. So I can't go through all of this, but what ideally is happening over here is um, um, When you run the test, it connects to a lit node, and it executes the lit action and returns a response, which is over here. You can see response data is covered over here, and that's how you can run a basic and generally that is how you can initialize a new project, create a lit action, conduct testing, and deploy it. Yeah.